Tonight, we're getting a rare glimpse into the mind of a juror. Thanks for joining us for the CBS 6 News at 6. I'm Cheryl Miller.
And I'm Julie Bragg. The 14 people who heard days of evidence in the Richmond graduation day shooting trial never ended up making a decision about the gunman's fate because in a stunning turn of events, the defendant ended up taking a guilty plea deal.
But what verdict would they have rendered if given the chance? CBS 6 investigative reporter Tyler Lane spoke to one juror who wants to remain anonymous due to safety concerns, who says he would have found him guilty.
My view was that it was calculated.
Those words from one of the 14 people who sat on the jury in Amari Pollard's murder trial. They tell CBS 6 that they felt Pollard acted maliciously, intentionally, and with premeditation when he shot and killed Shawn Jackson in a crowd of people at Monroe Park on June 6th, just moments after Shawn Jackson graduated from Huguenot High School. And the juror says they weren't the only one.
There were 7 of us that were leaning toward guilty.
The juror says they were compelled by video evidence presented by the prosecution, showing the moments of the shooting.
On the video, you see Amari run around people to get a really good aim on Shawn.
The juror believes the video showed Pollard trying to run away after the shooting.
To me, in the video from the parking deck, he was trying to flee. He was trying to get to his car on the 4th floor.
The juror was also compelled by footage after the shooting showing Pollard trying to grab his gun multiple times after dropping it on the ground and walking away from an officer. But the juror never even got to deliberate. The jury was dismissed once Pollard unexpectedly accepted a guilty plea after Judge Riley Marchant ruled that his attorneys did not meet the legal threshold to argue that Pollard shot Jackson in self-defense.
I think once the judge threw out the self-defense claim, to me, that would set the tone for what should have been considered.
There's got to be some factual basis and some evidentiary basis for the jury instruction of self-defense.
CBS 6 legal analyst Todd Stone says a judge cannot just allow a jury to consider whatever the defense wants. Before the jury would even begin deliberation, Stone says the court would give them instructions about the laws that apply to the case. For example, how premeditation can be formed within just an instance of killing someone.
They do determine the facts as they see them. They render their own opinions about witness testimony, the credibility of witnesses, and so a jury would apply their understanding of the facts to the law that's instructed to them by the court.
The Richmond Times-Dispatch reported that a different juror was leaning toward acquitting Pollard of first-degree murder, saying they were not convinced that the shooting was premeditated. The juror we spoke with disagreed, citing the ongoing previous feud between Pollard and Jackson and concerns that Pollard's own testimony contradicted the evidence.
There was not a single credible source during cross-examination, and when they put Amari on the stand, it definitely confirmed that he was not credible either. The defense never seemed prepared.
Either way, Stone says he would take a juror's opinion after the fact with a grain of salt.
You really can't give much weight, if any, to the opinions of jurors at this point because they didn't get to be instructed on the law and they don't know what the law is.
Now, Pollard faces 25 years in prison as part of that guilty plea deal. His defense attorney did not respond to our question about whether he would try and vacate the plea. Commonwealth's attorney Colette McEachin says Pollard and his lawyer read, discussed together, and signed that deal, which waives the right to appeal. I'm Tyler Lane, CBS 6 News.